everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Now, we're going to discuss a subject that when I first got into the wine world was a little confusing to me, and I didn't, at the time, I didn't really do the research and everything about it. And that's the difference between Syrah and Petite Sirah. I know a lot of people that come in the store and shopping for wine kind of get confused about those two wines. You might think, well, maybe Petite Sirah is a tiny little Syrah. It sounds like it, right? Although they are spelled differently. Syrah is spelled S-Y-R-A-H, and Petite Sirah is S-I-R-A-H. So they are spelled differently. Now, here's the cool thing about them. They are related. A man named Francois Durif discovered this grape, which was a hybrid or a cross-pollination of Palauerson, which is a grape, one most of us have probably not heard of, and Syrah. So this is a cross-pollination of these two grapes, and it created what he called Durif, Francois Durif, which later became known as Petite Sirah. Now, the interesting part about it is, although it was discovered in France, it is not grown in France. At least very rarely do you find Petite Sirah in France. It found its main foothold in California, where they do a ton of Petite Sirah. Maybe a lot of you are probably familiar with Stag's Leap Petite Sirah, which back in the day was a big seller. Not so much anymore. Petite Sirah's kind of lost its thunder a little bit on the market. And Syrah, of course, we've talked about that, is also struggling on the market. I think they're both great wines. They have a lot of similar characteristics. They are different in a lot of ways, but they are similar in some ways. Both of them show sometimes blueberry notes and licorice notes. They're both very age-worthy. They have big tannins, and although Petite Sirah, a little more acidity. So there you go. That's the difference. They are related, but they're not the same. So I love Petite Sirah personally, and whenever I get a chance to try one, I do. We're jumping up into a little bit of a higher realm than normal for me, but I think it's important because we have two really good Washington State wines, and we're going to taste them both and talk about the differences between the two. I think, yeah, this is the 2016 Savage Grace Syrah, Underwood Mountain Vineyards, Columbia Gorge, Washington. Columbia Gorge is a cool appellation. My wife and I just went there. What a cool spot. Very rugged. These guys are very adventuresome to get up there and start planting vineyards and growing grapes. And Michael Savage, I've been a big fan of his for a long time. He tends to go old world in style in his wines, which is really cool. I tasted a few of his wines in the past, and I thought his Syrahs were very Côte Rôtie-ish. Côte Rôtie, Hermitage, Cornus, and Saint Joseph up in the northern part of the Rhone are all big Syrah producers, very respected. And you've heard me talk about this before. But before I talk more about this, I might as well show you the label. 2016 Savage Grace Syrah. This rolls in at $42. $42. So not chump change. But remember, Michael Savage is a small winery, small production. We understand why it probably costs a little bit more to get his wine. So, Northern Rhone, really known for Syrah. Côte Rôties are very expensive. They can go for anywhere from $400 to $800, so you get the idea. Hermitage, very expensive as well. You can't get you can probably get a Saint Joseph for around $42, up in there. Cornus the same way. But when you get up in the, upper north part, a little bit more. So let's talk about, this is Michael, I just had, oh, there it is. Sorry, excuse me. Got a new white sheet. I thought the other one had a few too many wine stains on it. So Michael Savage likes to make his wines old world. He has a really great palate. He has buying vineyards up there by, I was actually excited when I went past this vineyard. I said, what vineyard is that, Michael? And he said, that's Celilo Vineyard. I thought, wow, that's such an old, respected vineyard. Let's look at the color on this. Very, very dark garnet color. Almost in the black realm there. You can see that. Let's see if we get on the nose. Now, we're going to compare the two. a lot of, I'm getting some plum notes on this, a little boysenberry. There's a little smoky edge to it, which is very typical of Syrah. Not so much Petite Sirah, although they can have a little smokiness to them. There are licorice notes on this one as well. And in the background, yeah, slight blueberry hit too. Let's see what we get on the palate. The blueberry really comes through on the palate. Good acidity. Really balanced wine. Nice acidity. I'm getting plum, blueberry, and a little underripe blueberry as well on this wine. Some red flower notes, which are really cool. A tiny, tiny hit of bacon fat, which is very common in Washington State Syrah. You can also get it a little bit in the Southern Rhone in the Syrah, where it gets really meaty texture. Good structured tannins on this. They're not chewy, but they're damn close to chewy, just saying. A little slight mocha hit on the back of the mid palate into the finish. I love his wines. They're very elegant, very structured, very smooth, and really well-made wines. I mean, Michael Savage is a great winemaker, and I love the licorice on this. I like the balance. I like the acidity. I like the tannins. This easily will age another 10 years, just saying. A little blueberry hit. I'm even getting a little raspberry as well. And then that smokiness, that smoked meat characteristic comes through on the backside. I think Michael makes some really good Côte-Rôtie style wines, a little Hermitage, that style. They're not big, unctuous wines. They just really show a lot of finesse and elegance, and I like that about his wines. Very good food wines. I know Michael is very much into making wines that pair with food, and he does a nice job. I'm going to go B+, A- on that. I think it's a solid Syrah's $42, but you can definitely lay this baby down and you will be rewarded in anywhere from 5 to 10 years. I guarantee it. Nice wine, long finish. I like it. Now, you heard what I said about this wine. Now let's go to another Washington producer. This is Dusted Valley. This is their Petite Sirah. Now, although Washington doesn't do a lot of Petite Sirah, they do Petite Sirah. There's a few fine vineyards that do it. God, the color on this is incredible. This is the Dusted Valley Stone Tree Vineyard Petite Sirah, Wahluke Slope 2016. Oh, they're both 16. That's exciting. They're both 16 and they're both $42. There you go. Wahluke Slope, great big appellation in Washington State. A lot of great different pockets of the Wahluke Slope that a lot of winemakers like to deal. Now this one is definitely purple black. I mean, this is a dark ass wine, just saying. Really, really dark. I mean, oh, you can't even see through it at all. So let's see what we get on the nose. Now we saw what we got with the Savage Grace, a little more elegant style. Now let's see what we get on this one. And just out of curiosity, this is 14.7% alcohol, and Michael's is 12.9. So big difference in alcohol levels, but Petite Sirah can do that. There's some Petite Sirahs that ramp up into the 15+ category, especially out of California. So let's see what we get on the nose. Solid licorice, a little bit of chocolate on this one. Ripe blueberry for sure. There's a hint. There's just a hint of smoke on this as well. Not as much as the the Savage Grace. A little tar action as well. Let's see what we get on the palate. Tannins are much firmer on this one. Big blueberry notes. A little licorice underneath. There's that similarity. Both have blueberry, both have licorice. I don't get any raspberry at all on this one. I don't get any of the plum action on this one either. A lot of tar, a lot of blueberry, maybe even a pinch of boysenberry coming through as well. Like I said, good structured tannins. That tarriness of tobacco comes through on the backside. Big time tobacco on this one. Very solid wine. And that chocolate, it almost turns into like a bittersweet chocolate on the backside with the tobacco and with the tarry, kind of charry element that's there. This is a big bad boy. You can have Michael, okay, sorry a little bit. I'm going to, just before I start on this little rant, not a rant, this little discussion. This is a big wine. This will lay down 10, 15 years easily. You could go 20, I think, on this wine. And it's still in closure, which is interesting. Be a nice experiment. I got a bottle in the cellar. I'll have to try and let that one lay down as much as possible. I say try because this is a big wine. This is, if I had a roast, if I was doing a roast, I would definitely pull this baby out. It would be so good with a rib steak or a roast or anything big meat items. Now, Michael's wine, a little bit more versatile than this one would be. Mike's wine would go good, I think it would go good with salmon. It's got that nice lighter body to it, but good complexity. I think it'd be good with ham. I think it'd be delicious with, it would be good with roasted chicken. I'm just saying. See, there's a big difference in the two styles, but both really good. This is just a monster. A little pepper coming through, like black pepper, tobacco, char, big tannins. The acidity kind of gives it a little grip on the backside. I mean, that tarry, kind of charry element really lingers on the backside. Love this wine. Well made. Very different, but solid wine. I'm going to go straight up A on that. I like it a lot. Michael's I like as well. B+, A-, solid wine. Now, we just talked about that, the difference in food pairing. Although they are related, they both have Syrah. This is Syrah. This is the parent of one of the parents of Syrah. Entirely different animals. And so when you're shopping in the store, I know some people have asked me, they're in the Syrah section, they're looking for the Michael David Petite because it's Petite Sirah, Petite Verdot. And I have to say, well, that's Petite Sirah that's over in the Petite Sirah section because they are different. So I know a lot of you know this already, but I thought it'd be fun to really talk about the differences. There are some wineries actually calling Petite Sirah Durif, which is the original name for it. So that's kind of exciting. So if you see Durif, it's Petite Sirah. Kind of cool. And for a long time, Petite Sirah was used as a blending grape in California. And now they're doing it as a single varietal. If you've kind of given up on Petite Sirah, there are some a lot cheaper than this that are really good. So, maybe you want to add that to your palate experience. A little Petite Sirah and compare it to a Syrah. Because you can get, in the under $20 range and have a little fun with that. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. By the way, between the two, if you've tried them both, which is your favorite? Do you prefer Syrah or do you like Petite Sirah? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Why do I have trouble saying that? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.